Good evening, good morning, YouTube. Salutations, wherever you're at. So, recently I've been doing the Historathon and reading some history, which has been a lot of fun. I have some new subscribers, so in case you haven't seen any of my videos, my name is Derek. I'm a certified welder. I did not study literature in school. I didn't even really like reading all that much until I was out of school. So, but anyway, welcome to the channel. So, I've been participating in the Historathon event. I just want to say it's been a lot of fun. I'll go ahead and I'll put some links and stuff in the description, but if you have not heard of Historathon, definitely try it out, or take a look at it, see if you're interested. There's a Discord server. It's been a lot of fun. Even if you're just for me, I read a book already for the first quarter, and then I decided to read a book from a future quarter, and I still enjoy being part of the Discord. So it is a lot of fun. But I picked up some books recently because I've been thinking about this event and some other stuff I might read for it. So, and I found a new, to me, used bookstore that I checked out. So I got a few books there, and I figured I'd go in and show them. But this first book I want to show, I'm going to show, there's two books I'm going to talk about that I don't have physical copies for that I'm going to show. Both of these would be, actually the first one would be quarter 2 of Historathon, and then the third would be the next book I'm going to show would be quarter 3. But this first one is, I'm going to have to edit in. I'm going to edit in the Future Derek right here somewhere. Future Derek, see my wave. That's for me. Put in the cover to Templars by Dan Jones. I got the description here. I'll read real quick. If you don't know who Dan Jones is, he writes a lot of nonfiction, and he just recently has written some fiction books as well that are pretty good. But I really like his nonfiction work a lot, and this is Templars, so you should have seen the cover by now. So, but I'll read this quick description real fast right here. It says, Jerusalem, 1119, a small group of knights seeking a purpose in the violent aftermath of the First Crusade decides to set up a new order. These are the First Knights Templar, a band of elite warriors prepared to give their lives to protect Christian pilgrims to the Holy Land. Anyway, it looks really good. I've read War of the Roses, Henry V. What was the other one? I've read a few of his nonfiction. Oh, Plantagenets. All three of them are really good. And then his Essex Dogs book was really good too. I read the first 2 in the Essex Dogs trilogy. I need to get to the third one. But anyway, all of them have been excellent. So I'm going to read this Templars. Should I put Summer of Blood looks really good too, which is also by Dan Jones. So I might get to that sometime soon too. So, but anyway, maybe I'll put the cover for Summer of Blood here too. But I'm going to definitely read some Dan Jones. But this would be for the next quarter or so, which is the next quarter of Historathon's one of my favorite periods ever. So, but I picked up some other stuff too, so I'm going to go ahead and show those things off as well. Oh, well, real quick. Future Me Again. Put another cover right here. I recently started reading Conquistador by Buddy Levy, and it has been excellent. It's technically for the third quarter. I was feeling a bit indecisive of what to read next, and I knew I wanted to read that. That's been that Conquistadors has been on my my reading list for a while, but it is excellent. So if you've never read Conquistadors, definitely check it out. It's about Cortez, who was a really famous conquistador in Mexico, and how he meets the Aztec leader, and just basically what they do to start conquering Mexico. So it's like one of those things when you read it, you didn't know you were interested in it until you started reading it. But it has been really good. I'm really enjoying it a lot. I'll definitely talk about it some more in the future. So I'm probably 150 pages in on it. I'll be done with it pretty soon. So it's been very good. I really like it a lot. So definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. And then the rest of this stuff is all hard copy books. So recently, well, let me start with this one first because these kind of spring from each other. This is This Hollow Ground right there by Bruce Canton. Bruce Canton's a pretty well-known nonfiction author. That I actually just found out who this was through Steve Donahue. I'm sure anyone watching this video is probably know who Steve Donahue is. He's a pretty well-known booktuber. But he talked about this book a couple times. And I had never heard of Bruce Canton before, so I saw this and I decided to pick it up. This is like a overview of the American Civil War. So obviously at this size, it's not going to be super detailed. because there are books about specific battles of the Civil War, of the American Civil War. But yeah, it's about 400 pages, a little less. But this is, Bruce Cannon's supposed to be a pretty good author. And I'll go ahead and hold these up too. So I had picked this up, and then I ran into these at the used bookstore I went to. Right here. This is by Bruce Cannon as well as the 3-volume Army of the Potomac. Or, yeah. Sorry, I'll show you. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Is it the Potomac? I'm not sure about that. I think I've heard it said a couple different ways, to be honest. But this is a 3-volume series. I'm pretty sure this is specifically about the Union Army. Which one's the first volume? Okay, they got the little stars on them, the Mark 1, 2, and 3. Let me put that right here somewhere before it falls down. It makes a loud noise. But I was going to, oh yeah, so it's got something on the inside flap here. It says, this is the story of Lincoln's famous Army of the Potomac during the early years of the Civil War, when it was under the command of the dashing General George B. McClellan. Clearly a man of destiny, McClellan quickly became obsessed with the idea, and the country and his troops shared his view for a time that he was divinely chosen as the instrument of the Republic's salvation. Anyway, so it's about this. Yeah, it's like the first Union Army. So I thought this looked pretty good. I'll probably read this first, this Hallowed Ground, just because this is shorter, and it can, obviously you could just, read one volume read one volume of this, come back to it. But I'm definitely happy to have both of these in my book collection, and I will get to these because both of these look very intriguing. This would fall into the last quarter of Historathon, which is 1820 to the modern day. And I thought this would be good for that time period. Because, like, my favorite time periods really would be quarter 2 and quarter 3 of Historathon. Like, those are my personal favorites. But, of course, there's all kinds of stuff. Obviously World War I and World War II and the Korean. Just all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff in that last quarter with tons of materials on it. This is a treasure right here I found. I was actually going to do an overall book haul and have this in it. If you've seen my channel before, you will know that I love Bernard Cornwell and the Sharpe series. But this is a Sharpe story by Bernard Cornwell, published by the Sharpe Appreciation Society. The Sharpe Appreciation Society was basically like a fan club, you might want to call it, that was created for the Sharpe TV show, which is a pretty well-known TV show in the UK. And people know it here too, but it's just not quite as well known here. But this is a nonfiction, a little short nonfiction book by Bernard Cornwell. Actually, Bernard Cornwell wrote another nonfiction book called Waterloo. I want to say it's like three armies meet over 3 days or something. But anyway, it's Waterloo. That's pretty good too by Bernard Cornwell. So you could read that as well. Maybe I should have edited that in here because that is pretty good. I wouldn't mind rereading that. But anyway, but this is Bernard Cornwell's story of how he started the Sharpe story. And it's pretty short, man. You could read this like in a day. It's hardly even 100 pages. So, but yeah, this is just a treasure right here. I've never read this, but I'm sure this will read quickly. Bernard Cornwell he reads very smoothly. I think he's not, an incredible, obviously he's not a super high literature author, but I really enjoy his work. He's one of my favorites. Anyway, this was another book I found. So this is the French and Indian War by Walter R. Bornemann. I've never heard of this author, but I saw this, and again, all this time frame right here is like one of my favorite time frames to learn about. So the French and Indian War, which this, according at least here, which is often referred to as the 7 Years' War sometimes. I'll just read the back of it real quick. It says, in the summer of 1754, deep in the wilderness of the western Pennsylvania, a very young George Washington suffered his first military defeat. And a centuries-old feud between Great Britain and France was rekindled. The war that followed would be fought across virgin territories from Nova Scotia to the forks of the Ohio River and would ultimately decide the fate of the entire North American continent, not just for Great Britain and France, but also for the Spanish and Native American populations. Anyway, I thought this looked really interesting. I don't see a bunch of stuff about the 7 Years' War and the French and Indian War, so I thought this would be pretty good. Like I said, I really like Musket era stuff. It's just something I really like. So anyway, I thought this looked pretty interesting. And again, this would fall into third quarter, again, which is one of my favorites. That's Napoleonic era. I might read Napoleon: A Life again by Andrew Roberts. I was like, that's an excellent biography of Napoleon. Well, this is a really good one right here. So this book right here, this is the Gulag Archipelago. This is a 3-volume series. It's massive, but it is excellent. If you've never read this, I really highly recommend this. It's considered a pretty important work of nonfiction. I'll just read the back. Let's see what the back says. Is there another? Let's see if there's something in the front. Because I don't think I can do it justice to saying it. No, these are like quotes about what it's. But it's basically about the prison and the Gulag Archipelago, and you know how these guys have to do labor and all kinds of stuff. Just a miserable existence. But it is a fascinating read. If I remember correctly, it starts right after the Russian Revolution, and so that's, you know, Lenin and the Bolsheviks. It's going to be pretty dark at times, so just be prepared for that. There is actually an abridged version of this, and I was thinking about reading that. So even though I've read this before, and I read the 3-volume series, I would be interested to go and read that unabridged version, because it's been like 10 years since I've read this. It was in 2016, I think, when I read this. It was during my lit bro, right? My lit bro phase of my life. But I think, does anyone else get lit bro phases? Let me know. You can put that in the comments. If you've never heard me talk about my lit bro phase, it's just I spent like maybe not quite 3 years, but about 2 years just strictly reading like literary fiction and classics, and it was good for me. I'm glad I did it, but you know, it's kind of my snobby years. So I really want to be a lit bro. That's why I call it the lit bro phase. Anyway, but this is excellent, man. This is very good. Like I said, it's they're 3-volume. It is quite long. That's why I'd be interested about that unabridged version. Because I was thinking about reading this. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to, you know, it's like 3,000 pages they're committing to. But the unabridged version is like 600, and it's approved by Alexander. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. So he had some kind of involvement in that unabridged, or the abridged version. So I might pick that up and read that, because I'm really interested in that. And that would fall into the last quarter of the Historathon event. But yeah, so those are just some books I picked up. I think that was all I had here. Well, I had a couple other books, but they're not nonfiction books, so I'll just save those. But anyway, I just thought I'd show those off. Some good stuff here. If anybody is interested in doing a buddy read of the abridged version of the Gulag Archipelago, let me know. I would be interested in doing that. And then, I don't know, maybe somebody else would want to read This Hollow Ground too, because that's a pretty well-known nonfiction book. So anyway, let me know if anyone's interested in that. I'll probably post this on the Historathon Discord too. Again, if you're not in the Historathon, definitely check it out, man. Like I said, the Discord is a lot of fun. A lot of just talking about books. And again, that's why I wanted to be on booktube, because I wanted to have people I could talk to about books. And it's exactly what, you know, I had hoped for. So it's really great. You can ask people about, you know, what they think about books. Let people, even if no one's reading the same thing as you, you know, you can just talk about whatever, you know, post a picture of the book you're reading and be like, hey, this is where I'm at. And almost certainly at least one other person is going to be like, oh yeah, I'm interested in that. Let me know what you think. And anyway, so it's quite fun. I'm really enjoying it personally. I'm not going to tag everybody from Historathon, but I'll at least put Revenant Reads, who I believe it's his event. And he seems like a really good guy. So if by some stroke of magic you've not seen his channel but are somehow seeing mine, yeah, I'll go and put Revenant Reads in my description, and maybe I'll put his Historathon announcement link in there too. Definitely go check out Revenant Reads. Anyway, it's a great event. And you only have to read one book per quarter to, you know, be in it. And there's even a side quest. So even if you don't want to read nonfiction right now, you can take part in partake in the side quest. I could, you know, if you want to be involved. So, you know, talk about whatever you want in the side quest. So, you know, historical fiction, something, documentaries, whatever. So anyway, really great event. Just some books you guys might want to check out. So that's it for today, YouTube. Night, good evening, wherever you're at.